Hi and welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Lorena. Hi guys, so this is going to be my September wrap up. I am filming this a little bit late because it's like the 12th of October. Not as late as I think I filmed my August one, but yeah, a little bit late. But we're here, we're going to wrap up all the books I read in September. And yeah, let's just get into it. So the first book I read was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Now this is a romance, if you don't know, it's a romance novel, and it's basically the reverse Pretty Woman. So our main character, I mean, I wasn't really expecting much from this book, I'll be honest with you. I was like, oh, it's romance, it's fun. I was still in Sicily. I was like, oh, this will be a fun beach read, which I ended up loving this and giving it a 4.5 stars. But yeah, you know, it kept me turning the pages, this one. So yes, Stella, our main character, female character, she is successful, she is smart, and she has Asperger's. So in the dating world, you know, she's not that great, she doesn't know what she's doing. Her mum keeps bothering her when there's going to be grandchildren, etc. So Stella decides to hire a professional to help her in the dating world, to give her like, yeah, just to show her how she should do. So her idea is to have like a professional showing her what to do, like lessons, like a practice boyfriend basically. So she decides to hire a male escort, and this is Michael, who's our main male character. And with the paycheck that comes with the job, he can't refuse it. And I'm not going to say much else than that, so things ensue. And yeah, 4.5, really fun, enjoyed it. A bit steamier than expected, but I think it was a really great romance, and I can't wait to read the other ones that she's written, like The Bride Test and then the recent one, The Heart Principle. Definitely want to check those out. So it was a great start to September. Then I picked up The Cottage by Lisa Stone, which is like a thriller horror book, which I know what you're thinking. Great book to be reading on the beach read, yeah, I know. But it was on my September TBR, so I picked it up, I know. But I did enjoy this one. It is, I mean, the cover, you'll see a picture here. The cover just screams autumnal vibes. So it's perfect for this time of year, so I definitely recommend picking it up for that. But our main character, her name is Jan, so she loses her job, her boyfriend, and she just needs a fresh start. So when she sees that there's this cottage for rent, it's secluded, it comes with a dog as well. It's on the edge of these woods. She jumps at the chance to take it on. She's a writer as well, so she thinks, great, I'm gonna be able to, like, you know, have the quiet I need, etc., and write my book. I think it was a book she was writing, and that's her idea. She thinks it's a great idea to rent a secluded cottage on the edge of the woods. So very quickly, when she has moved into this cottage, things start to take a bit of a dark turn. At night she hears like noises, and there's like taps at the windows, and like, you know, there's something out there, something's going on in this like kind of cottage, in the garden and the woods, etc. But she's like, you know, I'm not going to be scared off by this. I'm going to stay in this secluded cottage on my own, and see what's going on. So yes, you know, it keeps going on, like it's not going away. It actually gets a little bit more creepy. So yeah, the nightmare just is kind of beginning. You get great creepy vibes. That's like what the premise is on the back of it, and there is like a second storyline that comes into it, which I had no idea, so I'm not going to mention because it wasn't in the premise. But yeah, no, it's creepy. It's a little bit slow at places, but it does draw you in to find out what's going on. I have given it a 3.5 stars. I took off half half a point, yeah, 0.5 stars. Because at the end there's like a little bit that was like so many months later, you know, when like they've kind of basically wrapped the story up and then there's just like so many months later section just felt unnecessary. Like it wasn't really needed. Like it would have been fine just finishing that, the main story off, wrapping it up. It just, this little section wasn't needed. There was part of it that kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like if that had been included into the main story, it would have been really great, but I just felt like it was unnecessary, didn't add anything additional to the story. Yeah, it would have worked much better if it was in tandem with the main part. I still think it's a really great read, and yeah, it's perfect for this time of year, so I recommend picking it up if you're looking for some creepy vibes, because it does bring the creep. Then I picked up Horror Store by Grady Hendrix, and this was for Chloe Reads Books, Chloe's Crime Scene Corner. It was her book pick for September. So this is a horror novel, and this is the one that looks like an IKEA catalogue if you haven't seen it. So basically there's something odd happening at Orsk Furniture Store, which is basically a rip-off of IKEA. It even says it in like within the story, it's a rip-off of IKEA. And actually what I liked about this is I read it as an ebook and also listened to the audiobook, which was a really great experience. And then at the start of like each like new chapter, there was like, it's like a page and it's supposed to be like the catalogue, you know, like the piece of furniture, like the desk or the bookshelves or like whatever. And as so those descriptions are really great, and then as it goes further and further in, it becomes, those descriptions are more like horror like. I don't want to say too much, but like, yeah, I think that was a really great addition to this. But anyway, about the book. So Orsk, strange things happen in this Orsk Furniture Store. The staff come in the morning, things are broken, there's glass, there's like, yeah, it's a mess, and they don't know what's going on because everything gets locked up at night, and yeah, there shouldn't be anything going on. Sales are like going down, the security cameras don't show anything, so they don't know what's going on. So to unravel this mystery, the manager decides to stay over a night with 2 employees, for them to do like hourly checks and see what's going on. Yeah, to see what's going on. They're like to keep an eye on, like they need to find out is somebody getting in somehow, is they're breaking something, so they have to patrol what's going on, and yes, they have to investigate the creepiness, the sounds going on, are things actually happening, etc. And I'm not going to say any more than that. I think it was a really great horror novel. It was my first Grady Hendrix. I have since read another one now, but that will be in my October wrap up. Also in my October weekly vlogs if you wanted to like find out. But I really like it because he mixes some comedy elements in there. There is horror elements obviously, but it's, I don't know, it's just really enjoyable writing, so I give it a 4 star. I highly recommend it. Again, great for reading this time of year, and yeah, just, you should check it out. It's really fun. It's a really fun read. Then there was the Rory and Jess Mariano 24-hour readathon hosted by Carolyn Marie Reed and Kiara Foster. So I picked up 2 books within this time, that 24 hours. First one was Howl and Other Poems by Allen Ginsberg. Now I read the ebook and listened to an audio edition as well. It was, yeah, I don't tend to pick up poetry collections. This was on the Rory Gilmore list, and as I've mentioned several times, we're not going to go into too much. I said I'd read 20 of the Rory Gilmore list this year. I think I'm up to 11 now, or 12, 11 or 12, can't remember exactly. So, you know, we need to take these off, but I don't tend to pick up poetry collections. However, I picked this one up because it was nice, it was short, and yes, I really enjoyed it. Howl is the most famous one, and that's why it's Howl and Other Poems. I gave this a 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. I think there's a lot to get out of those poems, and the audiobook, got on Scribd, the audiobook, I think it was on Scribd. It is actually read by Allen Ginsberg. It's like old recordings, I think, that they've put together. So that was really great. I enjoyed it. Then I also read within those 24 hours Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Guys, sometimes classics are short. Sometimes classics are short, but they feel like they take a lifetime to read. It took much longer than expected. Oh, sorry, I have the book here. It took much longer than expected. I also listened to it with the audiobook, but I did find myself kind of slogging through it. This is like a 2-star, 2.5 star for me, which I wasn't expecting. I thought I'd like it, but no, like it's just, yeah, I didn't like it. I don't think it felt a bit confusing at places. Like I didn't know what was going on. It took a while to get through it, and I know some people really love it, but this isn't for me. I really struggled with this, but I did get through it, and it's because of the audiobook, I'm not gonna lie. So if you don't know, this follows our main character, Mrs. Dalloway, Clarissa Dalloway, and it follows her on this one, the premise is it follows her on this one day she's preparing for a party, and it's her thoughts and feelings and all this stuff, revealing different characters, etc. So I was assuming that it was going to be all about this one day, but it's not. At some points it goes back into the past, and like, yeah, not for me. Basically, it's not for me. I've read it, I'm glad I did, but for something so short, did this feel like it just went on and on. So this is not for me. I need to, if you've read any other Virginia Woolfs, let me know if you think I'd like it, if it's better than this, because yeah, really struggled with this. Moving on, I then read Weep Woman Weep, and it's by Maria de Blasi. I got this as a e-arc from NetGalley, so thank you very much, NetGalley. And yes, this is like a short novella, horror novella. I think it has some YA kind of elements in there as well. It is like a quiet feminist horror novella, and I'd say it's great for this kind of time of year, again, spooky season, you know. So the women of Sueño, New Mexico don't know how to live a life without sorrows. And that's La Roña's doing. She roams the waterways, looking for the next generation of girls to baptise, filling them with tears, more tears than any woman should have to hold. And there's not much they can do about the weeping women except to avoid walking along the riverbank at night and to try and keep their sadness in check. That's what attracts her to them, the pain and the heartache that gets passed down from one generation to the next. We follow Mercy and her. You also see her best friend Sherry. They have plans to escape the city until Sherry is caught by La Roña, and Mercy escapes, but La Roña leaves a mark on her. We then follow Mercy as she builds her life with La Roña's curse following her, and that's all I'm gonna say. I did really enjoy it. It's a little bit slower than other ones, but it's a slow burn, but I think, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, it's great. I'd definitely recommend it. We then move on to Witch You Were Here, Nightshade Paramal Cozy #1 by Laurie Woods. So I started to get into cozies during summer, cozy mysteries, and then yes, I saw that, you know, there's also these paranormal kind of cozy mysteries, and I thought, oh, that'd be fun, because, you know, going into spooky season, maybe like it's something that's like lighter, not like scary, but it has elements of like ghosty stuff, and you know, that was my idea. Now I listened to this on audiobook, and basically I didn't like this, guys. Didn't like it. I given it 2.5 stars. I found that the writing was overly simplistic for a book that was aimed at adults. I have checked this, and wherever I've looked, it says this is for adults. The 2.5, am I being too generous? Maybe it should be a 2. Sorry, I'm just reliving. I'm reliving my experience with this. But anyway, I'd say the language used was more for like a middle grade or lower YA. This is the way it was written. The plot was slow, and I definitely felt like she stretched out a lot. Like it could have been much shorter, but like it was really stretched. And the characters weren't well developed. I didn't connect with them. and I will 100% not be picking up the rest of the series, guys, 100%. But yes, it basically follows, I can't even remember her name, our main character, and she accidentally crosses over into this alternate version of their like Nightshade, sorry, like from the time she goes through a graveyard with her cat and they go through Nightshade. Cats can talk there. Turns out she's a witch, and there's like a mystery where like the librarian was murdered and she's trying to help resolve it. But honestly, it was just bad. It was just bad, and I don't know now if I'm not gonna like any paranormal cozy mysteries, or it's just this one that I really, really don't like. Anyway, then I picked up the Songs of Manolo Escobar. This book was such a surprise. I loved this. I really, really, really loved this. I gave it 4 stars. So on the back of this, like, you know, it explains it's historical fiction. Yeah, kind of historical fiction elements are in there, like literary fiction. But on the back of this, like it says, you know, Antonio, you know, he's grown up Spanish in Britain, so it's actually set around Glasgow, and it's like the 60s, 70s when he's a kid. It's like you have kind of 2 timelines, like when he's a child, the 60s, 70s as he's growing up, but you also have this timeline of the present moment, and there's like another thing going on. But on the back of this, all it tells you about, like, you know, Antonio, he was growing up Spanish in the UK, like in Glasgow, him and his brother, their parents are Spanish as well, and yes, it's shame, embarrassment on every front because he gets made fun of, he's getting bullied, etc. And there's no way of hiding away from it because his parents are very Spanish, obviously, and he's trying to be like not normal. He's trying to like fit in with the other kids and like kind of push away that his cultural identity. And yes, as he's growing up, it begins to unravel his father's past and discovers a truth that shocks and heals him. So you don't, I mean, that's what goes on. But what I feel like in this premise, what they missed on here, which might get people to pick up, because when I looked on Goodreads, like there's hardly any reviews on this, but you do get elements, you also get some past elements from the dad, and it goes back into the Civil War before they moved to the UK. So yeah, there's things about the Civil War and about Franco, and I'm not going to say too much about that kind of storyline, but I feel like from the back of it I had no idea, because it doesn't even really tell you the timeline, and I feel like they're missing out from like letting people know that that's what's going on here. And I think it was really well written. I don't know if I said this already, but 4 stars. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it, and more people need to hear about this book. So pick it up, guys. Pick it up, because it was so good. I was so surprised at how good it was. So Tea, Tiramisu and Tough Guys by Harper Lynn. It's the second in the Kate Bay Cafe Cozy Mystery series. I started this in August, the first one. I think I read the first one. I did this on audiobook from Scribd. I'm really getting into my cozies, like I said before, and yeah, I'm really enjoying them. So this is the second one. The first one, we meet our main character Francesca, and she ends up moving back to her hometown and running her family cafe, and she ends up solving her first murder and, you know, amateur sleuthing and all that. So in this one, her old high school crush ends up being accused of murder, and she believes he's innocent. But Matty, who was involved in the first one, he doesn't think he is. So she sets out to prove that he is innocent and he did not commit the murder. But yes, there's like lots of mystery elements, etc. And yeah, I mean, you don't need to read the books in order, but there's like certain things, like certain characters come back from other ones. But yes, I enjoy her amateur sleuthing. It's an easy audiobook, it's quick, and it's fun, cute and fun, and I ended up giving that a 3 stars for that one. Okay, then I read The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. Now this was again on my September TBR, and yes, I've been wanting to get to this for ages. I bought this back in March from Asda, £5 for like a 2021 release. It came out in February for hardback. I was like, yes, thank you thanks. So this one, as you can see, I love this cover, and I just, yeah, the vibes, you know. I feel like this would be great in winter for the snowy vibes. It's set in Switzerland, up in the mountains with the snow and stuff, and basically it is an old sanatorium that's been converted into a hotel. So yes, so basically our main character Ellen, she has been off work. She's a detective and she's been off work for a while, and she ends up receiving an invitation from her brother to come to Switzerland for the engagement party he's having with his fiancée. They are like the brother and sister. They've had like a tough relationship, and it's a little bit out of blue, this this invite to come, and she decides to go to kind of, you know, make amends, etc. So they end up arriving, and there's like, you know, a threatening storm, etc. And it's a beautiful hotel, but she keeps having this feeling that something isn't right there. There's something wrong, but she can't put her finger on what it is. And then, you know, the weather's getting worse, etc. And basically the next day the fiance has gone missing, and they don't know what's happened to her. Basically the storm then cuts off access, so they're isolated. Love a thriller with an isolated setting. They're isolated, and then a dead body turns up as well. So it's solving this mystery of where the fiancée Laurie is. There's a murder as well, and they're cut off, and she is a police detective, but she's had a break due to personal reasons, and she's trying to help people out basically and resolve this murder, the mystery of where Laurie's gone, and some other stuff that goes on. I ended up giving this a 3-star. Had the potential to be so much better. Yeah, I felt it could have been, it had the potential with the isolated setting, etc., to be so much better. I still really enjoyed it though. I do recommend picking it up. I had heard some mixed things about it, and after reading it I can see why. It's just like, yeah, in certain places there could have been more with the isolated setting, for some more suspense, etc. Sometimes I felt like our main character was just speaking through things rather than just seeing them happen. But yes, I did really enjoy it. So that was actually the last one I finished in September. However, so then I did pick up June by Frank Herbert in September. I ended up finishing in October. It took longer than expected. I was reading it as an ebook and listening to the audiobook at the same time. The audiobook definitely helped me. I'm just wrapping up in this video because my October TBR, if you haven't seen, is absolutely crazy, and I'm going to have so many books to speak about at the end of October that I don't want to add another one into there. I was really annoyed at myself, first of all, that I ended up carrying this over into September into October, knowing how big my October TBR was. So basically, for me, sci-fi isn't really my thing. When I read a sci-fi book, I'm almost a bit like, I don't really enjoy it, like, you know. So I thought June is like the sci-fi book when people speak about it, you know. Also the film's coming out, I wanted to read it beforehand. I saw the trailer, really intrigued, which is the thing with me. Sci-fi TV shows, movies, etc. Like, I see, you know, clips, etc. I'll watch it and I'll really enjoy it, but for some reason with the books, I don't know, it doesn't connect with me. It does not connect, sci-fi books. So yes, I listened to the audiobook as well to help me through this, because this is a chunker. It's like 700 pages. And guys, before I just get into the premise, etc., if you don't know, I ended up giving this like a 2.5. So it did not go well, guys. It did not go well, my experiment to see about sci-fi books. I think we can safely say that it really isn't my thing. Having said that, I do have other sci-fi books in my TBR, but yeah, it's not, in general, it's not my genre, clearly. Because I never go above like a 3-star basically with sci-fis. So it's set on a desert planet basically called Arrakis, and it follows the story of Paul Atreides, who's the heir to a noble family tasked with ruling this inhospitable world where the only thing of value is spice, a drug capable of extending life and enhancing consciences. I can't say that. Yeah, so it's really coveted and it's like worth killing for, essentially, for the spice. The House of Atreides is betrayed, and the destructions of Paul's family will set the boy on a journey toward a destiny greater than he could ever have imagined, and he evolves into the mysterious man known as Muad'Dib. He will bring to fruition humankind's most ancient and unattainable dream, a beautiful blend of adventure and blah blah blah. I'm not going to go into that bit. But yes, that's the general premise, and like I said, it wasn't for me. I think, you know, it could have been a 3-star, but the ending. I hate when books, you come to an end, because I know this is part of the series, I hate when you come to the end and like they leave you with a bit of a cliffhanger. It kind of annoys me. That it's not certain cliffhangers I understand, but this one was, you could have wrapped it up. You don't have to leave this kind of open-ended thing for me to pick up the next book, because I'm not going to pick up the next book. That kind of annoyed me. But yes, I just felt it really dragged on at places. I got a little bit lost. I mean, like I said, if I didn't have the audiobook, I don't know how this would have went. It really helped me in the audiobook. Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of characters. But I think I want to see the film. I know it's coming out this month eventually, after like COVID and stuff. It's taken ages to come out. I do want to see the film, and I think I will enjoy the film. It's just the books, not for me. And that's where we're gonna leave it. That's all the books I read in September. It was a pretty decent reading month. So yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna be quiet now. That's it. That's all the books I read in September. I had a pretty decent reading month. Find some good books, and yeah, let me know if you've read any of these, if you plan to read any of them. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you next one. Bye.